Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you may be. I'm going to be going over the 9-10 region audition scales for 2021. First things first, if you do not have a metronome tuner, I highly recommend this one here called TE Tuner, Tonal Energy Tuner. I'm going to go ahead and click on that so you can see what it looks like. It has a metronome, a tuner, it has everything on it, and you do have to pay, but it is so worth it, okay? Especially for the tuner element. You can put on a sound tuner, you can do a regular tuner. So I'm going to highly recommend that. The smiley faces are fun, okay? And it just will really help your playing a lot. If you have any other kind of a tuner, that's fine too. It's just really important that you have a tuner metronome on your device that you can use while you practice. All right, so I'm just going to do the scale portion today. So we'll start with a G major scale. You can go ahead and make sure your instrument's in tune. Biggest thing with this first is you just need to make sure that you're practicing the shifts. So what's marked in there obviously is it says to go to third position on the A string. So you could practice that shift first. This one should not be difficult for you as a high school student. And just make sure that's nice and clean. And then the next shift that I have written in there is to go to sixth position. So instead of shifting to this third finger and using a 4-4, which I think can be a little out of tune, I have you shift to sixth position. So you just do that. So I would practice on the E string. Make sure you're in tune with your first finger and play 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go back and play 1, 2, 3, and just practice that shift several times. And remember to make sure that your finger is staying on the string, you're taking your thumb. So I'll do it from this direction so that you can see what my whole hand is doing. Notice I don't pick this finger up. I don't go, because that just makes it out of tune, okay? And you want to keep things as light as you can, okay? And one more view I'll show you from back here, hence why I'm sitting down. Notice that thumb is light and it stays with me, okay? So once you get up into that position, that sixth position, not that it really matters, you're just going to play a high finger pattern. If you've been one of my students, you definitely know what that is. I'm the orchestra director at Riverside Middle, by the way, for those of you who don't know me. We do finger patterns every day. My students don't like them, but they work. So you're going to play 1, a small whole step because you're so high, to 2, small whole step to 3, and then touch 4 like you're going to hold a $100 bill in a hurricane. So, and that would be something else I would practice. You can find that D first finger by matching your open D, you know, and then you can just practice those upper 4 notes several times. Now, the biggest challenge students have a lot of times is coming down the scale, not going up. So I would practice coming down. And then you're just going back to third position with a 3. And make sure that's a good half step between 2, and then cross over to the A string and then come back to first position, okay? So as you're practicing this scale, it says quarter note equals 100. I would not start there. I would start at like quarter note equals 60 or 70 and take your time and make sure it's perfectly in tune before you start to go faster. Then as you start to build up speed, I would work on things like changing the rhythms. So for example, instead of playing, I would play, etc. And then the opposite. Then when you go back and play it regular with the steady rhythm, it's going to be so easy. So much easier. So what you're doing is you're challenging your fingers and your brain, and then you're taking that away, and it's going to make the regular scale a piece of cake, I promise. So ask your teacher about those rhythms if you're not sure. They're really, really good. I work with those with private students and my college students. So I'm the violin professor at North Greenville as well. So in a few years, when you're getting ready to go to college, you want a small school, you might consider that. All right, so enough of my commercial advertisement. So let's play the scale together, and I will stop and we'll check the shifting this time through. Okay, here we go. Slow, go. sharp, wasn't I? And I can tell you why, because I shifted too fast. So let's go back to open A. Better. I did better because I didn't shift so fast. So there's a word of warning. Don't do that. Even old professionals like me can mess it up. All right? So we're going to start on that D, first finger. Reach, touch. 1, 2, touch. Now shift. Hold that. Good. You can check with open D. Now 1. Check. That's it. Make sure your 1 is down too. Don't just shift with these fingers in the air. That's bad news. Back to first. Good. And now you should be able to work on it on your own and have those points of reference for where your shifts should be in tune. The next scale is the A melodic minor scale. This scale can be a little difficult because the half steps and whole steps change from going up and coming down. But the good news is it all shifts on the E string, so that's pretty easy. So let's try this one, and I'll kind of stop and we'll walk ourselves through it as we go. So you want a major pattern on the G string, which means these 2 fingers touch. And then on the D string, we're going to use a high pattern, which means 3 and 4 touch. Okay? All right, so here we go. Slowly. 3, 2, 1, A. Touch. Open. Stretch. Touch. C natural. F sharp. Whole step. Now shift and hold. And there again, I tried to shift too fast. Okay? So you got your A. And check with open A string. So now you're going to start in 3rd position. 1, 2, and then shift a half step. C natural, 2. And now you're going to shift to E. And remember, that's a harmonic. So you can check and see if it's in tune. Whole step, but it's small. Whole step, but small. And touch very tight. Good. Let's do those last 4 notes starting on a 1 again. Now you're going to come down, play that same 4. Now, it doesn't repeat in the music, but that's okay. We're just doing it for practice. Now, lower the 3 a whole step. And now put your 2 next to 1. Good. Now, I highly suggest that you just practice that portion of the scale a lot. And because it starts on E, you could practice it in 1st position. You could practice it on open E. To get that in your ear, and then come up and find your harmonic. Yeah, that's how you've got to do it. Because if you don't, you're going to get the pitch center completely off, and you're going to really be lost coming down. So let's start on that harmonic E. Find that and go up the scale. Pull it back, pull it back. Now you go back to a 3, 2 and 1 touch. Go back to 1st position. Low, stretch. Good. Now, scales are a lot about intonation, of course. We want to see, do you know those finger patterns? Do we want to hear, can you play in tune? Are you listening for the notes that ring? All the notes that have the same name as an open string should ring, unless they're flat, but they're not in these scales. But the other thing that we're listening to is your sound. So as you're practicing these scales, make sure you're making the most beautiful, full, that means loud sound you can make. Not gross, but a big, full tone, okay? I hope you do really well. Practice, put a metronome on, put a tuner on, and you're going to be great. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.